wanted to, make sure we launched it. It didn't cause any problems with billing, and dragged hard. And it was a lot of, and so from my point of view, from that day on, it's like I wanted nothing to do with it. I see criticism in a forum, and I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're mad about nothing. And so, as someone who's in talk, doing this job day in and day out, and they guarantee some of these guys have 10, 12-hour days several times a week just trying to get problems solved and stuff out the door to make, these customers happy. And all they do is then when they log on Twitter, like, hey, how do people think about this? It's this dev is an idiot. I can't believe these devs don't know what they're doing, and blah, blah, blah. And it's all this anger that they see in reaction to the work that they've done. And so I think that for a lot of these guys, they just keep their heads down. They try to avoid it, but there's got to be frustration of like the work that they're doing. Nobody sees the work that they're doing. Nobody respects the work that they're doing. And what Expel said, I think, was just like the one thing that just popped for some reason. And I think that's where a lot of that frustration came from. It's just let's just unload on this one guy. Months or years of built frustration of things we can't, we've never said, or we feel like we can't say to our customers.
No, it does make sense, and I think it definitely probably happened like that. Like one guy probably quote tweeted it and realized that every single dev he knew was going to also quote tweet it and agree with him. And then it got real aggressive. Like I looked through it, and the first couple quote tweets were like, "Oh, I don't really like how you're talking, but I'm not going to attack you." And then as I kept going,
it just
blah, 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 and I was like, "Damn, man, he's just criticizing the game."
Yeah.
Damn. And the thing that bothered me about it is the depth. What we've heard from polls and what we've heard from everyone in the devs and the dev calls is that they're not getting enough feedback from us. So I feel like Expel was trying to give legitimate feedback, but also I just wasn't looking at it from the POV of a dev.
Friendly stalker drone active.
Like you said, he was just a scapegoat. He was just drawing Campbell's back. And all those replies were how they wanted to respond to the subreddits probably for a long, long time and just haven't been able to. And almost every dev that responded was not dev. Like there were people from all corners of the FPS market responding because it's probably how they feel all the time about their own customers. But this time they got to do it about another company's customers.
Exactly.
Enemy launched the stalker.
I think a lot of the response was just, it was just venting, and so that's how I read a lot of it. But if you're expelled that day, that was probably not the
Yeah, and then he doubled down on it, which balls to him, man. Shout out to him for. I had the same take as him for a portion of it. He works himself differently than I would. I just wanted to get educated, and that's why I spoke with you, and that's why I really respect you for putting up the thread on your own time. You had no idea whether you were going to get 5 likes on that or 1,000 like you did.
I was hoping for 7.
Yeah. But yeah, and I understand it's not the dev's job to educate us. It's also not our job to understand. We're still allowed to criticize your products, even if we don't understand the work and effort you put into them. Like you can criticize how a house looks and the build of it without knowing how to build a house. There's a right way to do it, and there's a wrong way to do it, though. And I try to promote the right way to do it. But after 6 months, you kind of get tired of screaming into the abyss. So then you get, and I will say this about what Expel did. Whether or not you agree with the wording Expel used, he got a response. And we've been looking for a response for a long time. Finally got a response. So, everybody else has just been screaming into the void and not getting any dev response, whether or not he got Call of Duty dev response or negative response. The thing is, we know what he said was seen. It was heard. It was seen, and whether or not people agreed with it, they knew that a lot of the community for the Call of Duty community agreed with what he said. Whether or not it was right or wrong, a lot of people agreed. A lot of content creators agreed.